Hey guys, welcome to week 4 of the Get Real virtual workshop. It is our final week, and this week we are talking about life work. So, as we talk about life work, we're going to talk about our unique gifts. We're going to talk about our skills and talents, and we're going to kind of tap into our heartstring pullers and our service in the world. So, everybody has unique gifts that they're brought here to the world with. And I like to think of them as like the sparkle factor of our personality, kind of our superpowers, if you will, something that's unique to us that we can bring to any area of our life, to our work, to our relationships, to our creativity. So that's one piece. So, like, do you have a really great ability to make people laugh? Do you have the ability to get to the bottom of an issue when people are disagreeing? Do you have a way of bringing just that special flair to the decor of a room? Do you give really awesome hugs, right? Those are kind of sparkle factors that are unique to each one of us, and it's important for us to know what ours are. Skills and talents are a little bit different, and they are sometimes they come to us naturally, and sometimes they're, and oftentimes, even if they do come to us naturally, they're things that we develop through dedication and hard work over time. And so these things can vary. Like, I think of being able to butterfly a chicken breast, right? This is something I would really love to be able to do, but I haven't given my time and dedication to really cultivating that skill. But I know people who have, and it's an awesome skill to have. Speed skating, right? You don't just wake up a speed skater. You might have some innate abilities, and then you develop them through dedication and hard work. Being a master of spreadsheets. Negotiating a deal, right? Some of these things are our skills and talents that again might have come to us naturally, but we are able to develop them because we recognize them and we know we have them. So those show up in different ways in our lives, but they're really they're similar in some ways, and they're important for us to know about ourselves. So let me give you an example of what these are for me. So one of my sparkle factors is the ability to bring some grounding space into a room. So if I walk into a very chaotic room, like that's full of people, I have a tendency to offer this centering energy. And this comes in handy when I walk into like a room full of crazy toddlers or agitated adults or angsty teens. The people in the room that tend to be overwhelmed by that have their way of finding their way to me and finding some grounding in my energy. Now, as far as skills and talents go, one example is that I'm a good follower of instructions. So I'm like your go-to girl for IKEA furniture assembly. If the PTA has a project they're working on and they need people to do certain tasks, I am a go-getter, self-starter, and I can stay on task. Now, if they ask me to organize a group of volunteers to work on said project, that is outside of my skill set and outside of my area of expertise and interest, frankly. So this is one of the reasons why these things are important to know, because they inform us about the things that we should be saying yes to and the things we should be saying no to in life. Because what we're really working towards here is a life where we don't have to do things that we hate, okay? We want to be working towards a place where we know what our skills, talents, and special gifts are, and we're putting our time and energy into that work, and then we delegate or outsource all the other stuff, because there are people out there that love and are really good at that stuff too. So that's what we're working towards. Let's see. Okay, so Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote the book Eat, Pray, Love, she wrote another book called Big Magic: Creative Living Beyond Fear. And in that book, she talks about life work, and she breaks it into 4 different categories that I have found to be very useful in looking at my and my clients' work in the world. So you might want to have your worksheet to follow along and you can take notes on it, but I'm going to go through in detail kind of the descriptions of these 4 categories. So the first is hobbies. Hobbies are something that you don't have to have. You do them for pleasure. There's 0 stakes. There's no expectations of your hobby. You do it just for fun. You don't have to be great at whatever it is. And it's not required that you have a hobby, but it's really nice to have hobbies. So the second category is a job. A job is what Elizabeth Gilbert calls part of the human contract, right? It's what it means to be a responsible adult and be able to take care of yourself and your needs. It does not have to fulfill you, right? It is like an even exchange, work for money. But it should not create misery in your life, okay? So this is the thing with a job. It's something you do. You can go to work, get paid, come home, and leave it at work. If it's something that is sucking your soul, then find another job. So the third category she talks about is career. Now, you don't have to have a career. A career is a job that you're passionate about and that you love, and that you're willing to put in extra time, extra energy, extra blood, sweat, and tears because you believe in the mission of what you're doing. If you don't love your career, then she says go get a job, right? Because then you have more of your own life force energy to put towards things that you care about, like a hobby or something else. But a career involves more than just you, too. There's a relationship within an industry or a brand or an image, something that you are playing a part of that kind of connects you to that sense of meaning. But the fourth one that she talks about is really juicy, and it's a vocation. And she calls this the holiest of all. It is a calling or a divine invocation. It's where you use your gifts and talents to put something into the world. It's the highest possible pursuit. No one can take it from you and no one can give it to you. It's yours. So first, let's consider your hobbies. Do you have any hobbies? In your journal or on your worksheet, you're going to be given prompts to work through that, to write about why you enjoy them or why you wished you made more time in your life to enjoy them. And we're going to look at jobs. What was the first job you had? What did you learn about yourself at that job? Do you have a career? A job that you're passionate about and willing to give above and beyond as far as energy and devotion right now? If so, what is it and what lights you up about that? Like really get clear and connect to what it is about that career that lights you up. And what about a vocation? So in Liz Gilbert's book, this book is kind of geared towards artists and creatives. So for her, writing is her vocation. She'd do it even if she wasn't paid for it. But it's more than a hobby for her, it's a calling. So do you feel that way about anything? Think of it this way. If you were to make your vocation like an identifying part of you, where you were to declare, I am what would that be? And let me just tell you right now that if you don't have that right now, it's okay. Now, after you go through this work in your journal, spend some time reflecting on what work you currently do, be it a job, a career, a vocation, or a hobby. Do you believe in the mission of your work? Does the action you take towards this endeavor feel like something you just have to do? So let me tell you a little bit about my story. So some of my first jobs were in food service. And what I learned about this was I loved connecting with people and offering something that made their lives better. I also learned that especially like doing this first thing in the morning for a couple of reasons. One, I liked being up in the morning. I liked waking up with the sun and going off to work as all the birds were waking up and all the creatures, and it was still very sleepy. I liked that energy of the day. But most importantly, I liked being the first face that people saw when they were going out to begin their days, and I was able to make a positive impact on them by our interaction that first thing in the day. So that's something I learned about myself very early in my first jobs. Now, after college, I started working in marketing, and this transition from a job to a career for me as I took on more responsibility and kind of took ownership of the work that I was doing. I felt like I was a part of a team, and I really liked the process of seeing something go from strategy, like ideas, to an end product, something real and tangible out in the world. Um, Now, the problem was that over time, I was exchanging too many hours for this work, and it really started draining my life force energy, and it really started to affect the quality of my life. Um, that the hours, along with the bureaucracy of corporate America and a lot of the waste that I saw, I just really started to slip out of alignment with my values for this work. And so that exchange didn't feel, I kind of lost my connection to the meaning, and the exchange of time and energy felt really out of balance. And it was about that time that I had my first child. And I decided that there was no way I was going to um, go back to something that was so out of alignment for me. Rather than stay home and raise my daughter, I decided I was going to make whatever lifestyle changes I needed to make so I could do that. And between that time and the next 2 years after that, when I had two more kids, so I had three kids in 3 years' time, I really tapped into my vocation, which was motherhood, right? To be the best mother I could for these kids, and to raise them the way I wanted to raise them, and to advocate for them and their own unique needs. That really became a calling for me. And it still is now that they're teenagers and I'm raising them to be young adults. Over the years, I've had jobs. So I've like worked temp jobs as a receptionist. Um, I had a little booth at an antique mall where I sold like home goods. I worked at the desk at the YMCA. I've done different jobs throughout the years. But through the depth of personal growth work that I've done in the last 5 years or so, I've been able to tap into a deeper meaning of my life. I've connected the dots between my gifts, my skills, and my passions to create life work that is a vocational career. I am here to listen, to guide, and to love. And I do that through life coaching. So I see a vision for the future, and I'm powerfully driven to wake people up in their own lives. This hamster wheel of life is going to run us into the ground, and we need to rise up for ourselves and for the next generation to come. My love of nature and my awareness of my own wild, true nature has taught me that coming back home to the earth and tuning my own personal channel into the channel of Mother Nature reminds me of what's most important in life. It allows me to jump off that hamster wheel and connect to something that's much bigger than me and my day-to-day problems. And this is the work that I bring into my life coaching with my clients, one-on-one and in groups. Guiding others in their journey to do this is my life work. And I've learned so much about myself through all the different jobs, careers, hobbies I've had. There's no way I could have gotten to where I am without some hard work and some grind and some grit and a lot of introspection and willingness to ask myself tough questions. And that's what I hope that this week in this workshop offers you. I hope that you move through these lessons and really ask yourself the tough questions. I hope that you'll see that what you want, what you love, and what lights you up is vitally important and not to be pushed away or tucked aside. You are unique and precious and talented and impactful. You matter. And it's worth whatever work it takes to make you feel whole, because you are, and to make you feel like your life is rich in meaning, because it is.